Okay, so the first thing we always have to start with is mechanism. So, what do we think is going on in the brain when someone takes psychedelics? Well, the important things to note here, two primary things. One is the default mode network, and two is neuroplasticity. In my videos on meditation, I talk about the default mode network, but I'll summarize what it's associated with quickly here. The default mode network is based around the thoughts you have, the voice in your head that's oriented around yourself and its relation to the past and the future. Now, through these things, the past and the future, you build your ego. So everything that's involving you, your past and your future, that is how you build the narrative of who you are as a person running through the world. Okay? Now, in meditation, this area of the brain is purposefully suppressed, but with psychedelics, this area of the brain is chemically suppressed. So it turns this area off. This also leads to a lot of cross communication in the brain that normally doesn't occur. We think that's where synesthesia comes up, where you have a mix of sensory input. So it'd be like you see tastes and you taste colors. Personally, I've never fully would have described it like that. The better way, I think, is to say you can make comparisons between them. So like chocolate and coffee have like a very low note vibe, and sweet and sour things have a very high note vibe, like high frequency, like high pitch. So that was my expression on that. So anyways, I don't know. I just see relations between these things. I don't actually be like, I taste this and it sounds like this. So, but you also notice stuff like if something troubles you, you'll notice how you perceive the room will change. So you'll notice like if you have something psychologically disturbing, the shadows will jump out at you a little bit more, like a video filter effect. So that's something that has some, your emotional state kind of crosses into it a little bit. So that's why we think some of that is happening. The neuroplasticity is the other facet of this that is really important, though. So to be plastic in your brain means to be malleable. Now, children are much more malleable than us adults because they got a lot of neurons to start with. So you start with a ton of neurons. It makes it really easy to form a ton of connections and learn a lot of things really fast. So you can get multiple languages down really quick as a kid. And it's harder as an adult because basically as a kid, it's like casting a net out, trying to figure out what's useful in its life, and then growing up and snipping away what doesn't matter. It's one reason it's hard for them to focus too, but that's irrelevant. Anyways, children are much more plastic and malleable than adults. And through psychedelics, you have a period of time where your brain actually generates a lot more change than normal while it's actually interconnected with itself in a very deep way. So we know it's turning off the default mode network. So why this makes sense mechanically or mechanistically for a therapeutic experience is you're turning off your ability to have your own narrative for a bit. That forces you into present moment, which actually makes you physically feel what you need to feel, which makes you start processing emotions. And as you come back to your story of what it means to be you, and you're able to think about thoughts of more in the past and future again, in that process of coming back to that, having the default mode network back online and it being reassembled, you get to analyze your life's story and situation in the same way that you can analyze a stranger's, because to you it kind of feels like a stranger's memories are being handed to you. Okay, so with that idea in mind, you get a different perspective on your own situation, and you can see more clearly, oh, that's why this. So it's like if you're completely forgotten about the past and future for a while, and then you're coming back to and you go, oh, it's 10 o'clock, I need to go to bed. Oh, why do I need to go to bed? Okay, yeah, I got work tomorrow. Oh yeah, and I'm trying to make money. Why am I trying to make money? Oh, I'm trying to like impress this one person. And then you're like, why am I trying to impress that person? And then you take it all the way back to like all these little interactions that are going on in your life. and all of the stories you've said behind everything, and it makes it easy for you to see them as just these stories of things that have gone on in the past and be able to change and let them go. On top of it being able to, you being able to have less attachment to these stories, you're also more plastic, as we said before, so you're more likely to actually make a long-term change based off of the information you get during that time. So, last little tidbit, it I guess works on your serotonin receptors. And that's what triggers all of this. So it's the 5-H2A serotonin receptors, both what LSD, mescaline, and psilocybin all work on. Most of the stuff I'm going to talk about is going to be around psilocybin and LSD. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's the very basics of it. And I'll do some more deep diving on the next one.